And welcome on back, everyone, to the little bit of a long hiatus between the last Streaming with the Mouse of Moon Knight and today's episode 126, where we're going to be talking about Star Wars Kenobi, the first two episodes. So much to say, not enough time to spend 24/7 talking about it, but get ready, and you're listening to Streaming with the Mouse. And welcome on back to episode 126 of Streaming with the Mouse. Today we'll be talking about the new Star Wars show, Obi-Wan Kenobi. My name is Clifton Paul Robinson, and joining me as always is my co-host, my co-pilot. I don't know which one I want to do for Kenobi yet. The Bail.
Can I be the Tika?
Sure, I was going to say the Bail to my Ben.
That's a lot more respectful. I appreciate you for saying that, but I'll be Tika with the job. That's fine with me.
Okay, you can be the Tika to my Ben. Cam, how are you doing?
Awesome. This is great. Are you kidding me? I woke up yesterday morning, and I know this is Disney Plus podcast, but you're telling me I got the first two episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I have a take about, obviously, but I have a take about the release. And then last night I got to watch the first two episodes of Stranger Things, and I have 5 more to go on that on Netflix. So the heck of a Memorial Day weekend, if I do say so myself. Now I will say, it sucked. I woke up at 3 a.m. for Obi-Wan, not realizing when I was still awake at like 12:30, I could have been watching Obi-Wan because I didn't realize they dropped it early because I just didn't see it. And I remember saying to you, Cliff, I was like, this is so dumb that the people at Star Wars Celebration are going to get to watch it at 9 o'clock Pacific time, 12 o'clock Eastern our time, and we still have to wait till 3. I was like, that's dumb. And Star Wars must have recognized that it was dumb. It's just weird. They've obviously swapped the dates around a little bit. That's my only complaint about the show, because the show is freaking awesome. I can't wait to talk about this.
Yes, the show is great. I do like the 2 episode. I've been a big proponent of 2 episode releases 1 week at a time. We do have confirmation that's what it's probably going to be for Andor in August.
For the first 2.
Just for the first 2, yes. They're going to start it with 2 and then let it run till I think November 6th for Andor. We do have news. The first one, we're going to talk about the actual news, then we'll talk about a little bit different in a second. So we have 2 new things. Well, we have a Thor Love and Thunder trailer. We won't talk about that right now. Looks beautiful. We have the official She-Hulk trailer. What were your gut reactions? We know She-Hulk is coming out soon. There were good things and bad things, I would say, and I'm not appreciating Marvel's CGI recently.
So that was my only complaint. The CGI looked like crap. It looked really, really, really bad. I did see while I was on vacation that the official Marvel YouTube channels have like updated the CGI, yeah. Which makes sense. So that basically tells me is that that's not the final CGI. There's going to be a lot better CGI, and that's great. That was just what they put for the trailer. But I think that probably tells me that they just weren't ready for the trailer. If you're not ready to drop the trailer, just don't drop the trailer till everything's good. Like, put out your best foot forward, I guess, before you have trolls on the internet just complaining about it. And honestly, I don't think people are trolls.
I will discuss trailer CGI in the actual Kenobi talk.
Sure.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm still excited for it.
Oh, yeah, I am too.
I think it still looks good. It sounds funny.
Yeah.
And it sounds different.
My one hope is I hope part of this takes place before the blip. And the reason for that is because the Russo brothers were very, very adamant that Hulk's arm would not be fixed after he used the nano gauntlet to snap. His arm looks perfectly fine here, and their explanation's great. It's like, if Thanos couldn't recover for it within 5 years, why would Hulk be able to? And that's why they said Hulk's arm would be damaged. His arm looks absolutely fine. Now, it could be another fake out, kind of like they did with the Infinity War trailer, where they had Hulk running down, and in reality it was Bruce Banner in the Hulk Buster suit running down in Wakanda. But that was like the one I was like, come on, the continuity-wise here, people. You know I'm big on that. And that's Marvel's bread and butter for the most part, right? So that's with that.
Yes, I think Tatiana looks like a great Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk.
I'm excited for her. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
And the season premiere of She-Hulk is Wednesday, August 17th. So we have a lot of stuff coming up. We do have a Chip and Dale episode in the works for you. Whenever, probably early June, we're going to release our special Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness breakdown, where Colin joins us to play Devil's Advocate.
That one we already have in the can too, which is nice.
We have that one done. It's ready to be uploaded, but we're waiting for a closer Disney Plus release date. And then the other big thing, Marvel-wise, is we have a few news clips, kind of, from Miss Marvel. Disney Plus sent out the first 2 episodes to a limited amount of online personalities. They didn't seem to be none of them were verified, which I thought was really cool, because it's people that are getting it and then can just give the excitement of what they want. All of them really had the same thing where it's like, I was nervous with all the changes they've been doing, but they really kept her story close to home, which I have a few theories that I'll talk about when the show actually, when we're going through the show. But also, Aman Vellani has said that she's very happy with the direction the character has gone. So I think a lot of the things we're nervous about, we're not going to have to worry much about. There were early leaks saying that get ready because Miss Marvel doesn't look good. But now, I mean, I don't always trust the fake Marvel
for sure
leakers, but all the people that have seen the first 2 episodes have really liked it.
Right, which is great. We'll take that every day.
That premieres Wednesday, June 8th.
Mm-hmm.
So
can't wait.
We're going to have to be juggling Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel. We just need another set of hosts that can switch back and forth for us. And then you're all probably wondering right now, Cliff, Cam, there's so much Star Wars news. Why aren't you talking about the Star Wars news? And there's a very good reason for that. It would be its own episode, and that's what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
We are going to have a special in the upcoming weeks. I mean, Star Wars Celebration is for the next, I believe it's the whole weekend.
Yeah.
We are going to weigh off, and we are going to do an entire Star Wars Celebration / Disney Plus day of news.
Yeah, and it's going to be more than just Disney Plus, I would have to guess, too. We're going to talk about everything.
We're going to talk about, and I will, spoiler alert, the next Star Wars movie that will be released will be written and directed by Taika Waititi. We have that confirmation. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about Andor. We'll also be talking about some of the new shows that are being released. We might even talk about the books, because I'm a big fan of the High Republic series that's been going on, and they have a whole panel dedicated just to the writers. So
we should try to get a certain somebody who we know is at Star Wars Celebration to come on to talk about that. Now that I'm thinking about it,
I think he definitely would be doing that.
Yeah, we'll talk to Chris. Okay, cool.
And Chris was there. We could have been with him, but
is there any more news? Because I have some news.
There is no news on this end, so we will have your Star Wars Celebration episode within the next probably 2 weeks.
My news is, it's not Disney Plus related, but it's Marvel Studios related. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is sick. It is so cool. We're recording this on Saturday, May 28th. The ride officially opened yesterday on the 27th. I got to ride it a week before on May 20th as an annual pass holder while I was in Disney. That's why we have been on hiatus, because I was on vacation mode. It is sick. It is the best ride in Disney World. It's better than Rise of the Resistance, which is awesome. And Cliff has not ridden any of these. Cliff, you should come in February when I go in February.
It's been so long. I know.
You should come. I'm going for the half marathon. You should come in February.
Bridget seems very adamant to tell you, though, that Ratatouille is the newest best ride.
That's insanity, but whatever. I would love a Cliff, Cam, and Bridget trip to Disney World when I go there for the half marathon. That would be fun. You guys will hate me by the end of it, but it's fine. But can we talk about Obi-Wan now?
Yes, we can talk about Obi-Wan. So we are going to be talking about, as I pull it up, the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm surprised. I know they marketed it so much as Kenobi, and now it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. But we have the first 2 episodes, part 1, part 2. They're literally just part X, part insert number. The first one had a runtime of 55 minutes. The second one had a runtime of 42 minutes. We're going to be talking about them, and the way we're going to be doing it is we each get 6 thoughts, six of what we loved the most. Okay,
this is Cliff's.
This is me.
Cliff did this. He's evil, not me. Explain why.
This is my little cheeky thing. We each get 6 things in our list because, Order 66.
Terrible human being.
We did get it. So we're each going to go through our top 6 and predictions for next week. So Cam, you can start it off. What is your number 6 for Kenobi?
So my number 6 is we're jumping right into it, is the
jumping right
Organa name. So obviously, spoiler if you have not watched this, but little Leia Organa is in this. And one of my favorite parts in this show is, so Leia gets teased by her cousin, like, you're not even a real Organa, because obviously she's adopted, right? We know she's a Skywalker. She doesn't know that, but we know truly her blood is a Skywalker. And she questions that, and she even says to Bail, like, cousin, whatever his name is, said, like, little shithead. Sorry, I don't know if I can say that, but whatever. Said, like, I'm not a real Organa. And I love how Bail, like, gets down to her level and comforts her. You are our child. You are an Organa in every way. One day this planet will look to you, and in many ways, lead, and you'll just need to find yours, meaning find your way to lead. And I love that, because I think the Organa name is so important for Leia. It's like so sneakily important, especially for someone like me, who has like read a lot of the books and whatnot too, like the canon novels. It's so important because even after she finds out her real dad is Anakin Skywalker, she doesn't change her name. Even after she marries Han, she doesn't change her last name to Solo. She is always, always, always going to be an Organa, and I think that's so important, because those are the two people that she looks to as parents. While Anakin may be her biological father, and Luke is like really big, like, that's my dad, Leia can separate the paternal father from who her actual dad is, and that's Bail Organa kind of thing. And I really like that too, and that's a big thing as well in like the Claudia Gray book Bloodlines, which until recently was my favorite Star Wars book. Now it's Claudia Gray's Lost Stars. But she even mentions too, like, about how she kept that name even though after she knows now that she is a Skywalker technically by blood, but in her heart, in her soul, she's an Organa. And I love that they were able to have that conversation. And this is a really nice moment between a father and his stepdaughter, who he looks to as just his daughter. Take the not stepdaughter, excuse me, adopted daughter, I should say. But take the adopted out of it. That's Leia's just his daughter. I love that little quick scene, but very touching and meaningful, I thought.
I think in the wise words of Yondu, he may have been your father,
but he ain't your daddy.
He wasn't your daddy. I
literally was thinking about that too. I was gonna try to sneak that in. I was like, it's fine. I'll definitely do it.
My 6 goes into your concept.
Oh, awesome.
Kind of. I'm going to talk about Leia as a whole as one of my points, but I am going to talk about the reaffirming the sequel trilogy in this. And as everyone knows, I'm not a huge sequel trilogy person. But
give it 20 years.
It still can't. I know. Give it 20 years. I'm a huge prequel fan. Dave Filoni really got, and Deborah Chow, they really got it for this, because the concept of you make your own family, you make your own choices. I actually want to go back quickly to your Organa thing. I believe I read somewhere, it might have been expanded universe, but the people of Alderaan take the wife's last name.
I love that.
It's a matriarchal society.
I love that.
So Bail Organa, I think he was, I forget if that's what it was. I forget, it's either he was an Organa.
I hope so, because that's a great little tidbit.
It's either an Organa or an Achilles. I don't remember. That might have been an expanded universe thing. I do remember reading that somewhere. And that's why she also kept the Organa name. And Leia did not respond well to Darth Vader being her father. With just dealing with, like, this is literally the man that destroyed my planet. But you have this reaffirming of the sequels, and people keep trying to be like, they're gonna retcon it, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're really not gonna, because like Obi-Wan's parallel of just like in the cave making the food like Rey did in
that was
Force
cool.
Awakens.
Yeah.
And I mean, if we're being 100% honest, burying the lightsabers in the sand, I thought that was a huge middle finger to all the people that bitch about it, which I thought was funny. I was like, this is great. And people were like, I thought he was being just tongue-in-cheek when he said it to that random Jedi, like, oh, buried in the sand. No, he literally did that. So Anakin's lightsaber has been in the sand multiple times on Tatooine. Poor Anakin. He hates sand. But there was just this reaffirming of the sequels in small ways, in parallels to it. And it's almost in a sense where we all agree the sequels were rushed. The sequels didn't have a true vision. They kept changing it. I think that's a common agreement, no matter, even if you like the sequels. I think Kenobi kind of showed like the sequels make sense if they had that continuity. That's kind of what it was, because
Mhm.
like this all flowed well. Like the lightsabers being buried made a lot of sense without really saying it. Leia being an Organa makes sense.
Mhm.
I mean, I thought Rey being a Skywalker makes sense too, but and then like just like the hermit life, like this is what it
Mhm.
is. It's just the same thing day to day to day, and I really liked that concept of the reaffirming.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll get to my number 5 now because yeah, that's the perfect way to do it. But my number 5 was the unbearing of the lightsabers, actually, and I agree. It obviously had some ties to the sequel trilogy, and I'm wondering now is like that part of Jedi lore. Like obviously they do the funeral pyre. How do you say that? Pyre.
Pyre.
Maybe that's a part of it. Is instead of like a gravestone or something like that, you bury somebody's lightsaber, and I think of that. You can say Kylo Ren. You could say I like to think of as Ben Solo when he says this, but let the pest die, kill it if you must. So literally, the representation of burying the lightsabers for Obi-Wan, because he does think Anakin is dead up to that point, and he's burying who he was. He's going by Ben now. He's not going by Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's trying to let his past die. When that Jedi comes up to him asking for help because he recognizes him, he's like, "Nope, that's not me." Like, and he's so forceful with it, right? He's like, that's done. We are done with that right now. So him unburying it was really great because of multiple reasons. So obviously it's unburying your past and unkilling yourself as far as like who you were, but also dealing with that trauma. And we see it in his nightmares of, he has so many nightmares about Anakin because he failed Anakin. He knows he did, or at least he feels like he did. So bearing up or unbearing that trauma to think more about Anakin, you got to think, does that lead to more nightmares, and how it relates to the end of episode 2? And by episode 2, I mean Obi-Wan, not Attack of the Clones. So I thought that was really, really great. And again, it just affirmed like the whole burying of the Luke and Leia lightsaber on Tatooine. I thought was really great as well.
Yeah, that overall, it's like you're burying your past self.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to talk about this more. That's going to be my first point.
Sure.
But I'll talk about it more. But like the difference between Obi-Wan and Ben is very striking, and we'll talk about that more soon. I will personally. I'm guessing you will as well. But my number 5. I'm going to switch. I'm going to completely 180 you. That was a good point.
Okay.
I really liked the lightsaber thing.
Yeah. It was quick, but it meant a lot to me.
Exactly. And so my number 5, I'm switching. I'm doing a complete 180. I'm getting away from the sentimental and like, oh, that's beautiful. That's so nice. The Inquisitors. You and I are both. You're a bigger Rebels fan than I am, but I am still
correct. And you're a bigger Clone Wars than I am.
I am still a big Rebels fan. I really appreciate the story. Going back and rewatching it, and yes, like the Grand Inquisitor looks stupid. The Fifth Brother looks stupid. Yada yada yada. They did it. They did the thing. They ended up. They were not ready to show them in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to day one release, the Grand Inquisitor looked awesome.
Looks sick.
I could get past the more round head. I could get past so many of these things, but Rupert, they gave him the teeth. He had the teeth in post. He had the red eyes in post. They just needed a little bit more time, and that's what people have to realize nowadays. And I kind of had that sneaking suspicion that that's what it was going to be, but people have to realize movies and TV shows nowadays, they are usually getting edited up until like 2 days before release. Like, VFX, all these things take so much longer. It's so much more insane rendering. I mean, they used to love to tell us how Pixar movies took like 10 years to make because rendering would take like a year of the process. I thought Rupert Friend did such a good job capturing. He made the character his own. Very creepy, definitely intimidating. But I don't even think he stole the show. Like, he was very good. Sung Kang did so well as the Fifth Brother because I thought they butchered him in the trailer. I'm like, he looks so stupid. He captured Rebel's Fifth Brother so well, and like the voice he did, like his mannerisms, like he felt like what the live action Fifth Brother would be. And I'm like, that to me, I'm like, this is a more important villain in Rebels, and he's only going to be a background person here, but he really this is now. I'm like, this is definitely the fifth brother. This feels like the fifth brother, which I was shocked because I was like, he looks so stupid. This isn't what his Rebels character looks like because the Grand Inquisitor at least looked like him somewhat. I'm like, the fifth brother looks so stupid, and he nailed it.
Yeah, they were all great, and I don't know if you're going to talk about Reva at all. I don't have her as a point exactly.
I don't either, so we can talk about her here then.
But I liked her a lot.
Yes and no.
Okay.
I liked her and I didn't like her. People need to realize we used to watch shows week to week. I know it's ancient history. Netflix ruined television. This is my boomer rant. Netflix, everyone wants everything right now because of that, and I get it. I love just sitting down and like binging the whole season of The Witcher when it came out. If you ask me what happened, I can tell you vague things, but I can like go into in-depth detail of week to week episodes. I think Reva has potential. She seems a little over the top anger-wise. I personally think that Order 66 in the opening credit one, that's her. I think that's her story.
I agree.
I think that's pretty obvious because you're not going to randomly show an Order 66.
Now, why do you think she hates Obi-Wan so much? Because I have a theory.
Well, I think the other reason the Inquisitors hate her so much is because Vader favors her. Mm-hmm. I think because we know Vader hates the Inquisitors. I think Vader favors her because she really is. This is what people aren't seeing. Reva is a blend of a dark side young Anakin and young Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. And that's why I would think Vader would like that, because she's like the dark side version of his old Padawan. Because she is. People don't realize that's what Ahsoka was like, just on a light side version. Beginning of the Clone Wars when everyone hated her. She seems a little over the top with her anger, but if she is the Order 66 girl, she's 20 years old at most. Of course, a 20-year-old dark side user is going to be ridiculous in their emotions. Mm-hmm. I think my guess is Obi-Wan was the face of the Jedi Order inside the Jedi Order. Anakin was the face to the Galactic Republic, but Obi-Wan sent the signal like, the Jedi are dead. It's over. Don't come looking. Give up your life. Give up the life you were literally given. My other guess is that she ran into him and he did the same thing, like, oh, I'm Ben, like, drop it, get away from me, and then Vader found her.
My little headcanon is she's obviously in the Jedi Temple. I think she sees Anakin just mowing down younglings like herself, little Padawans.
Yep.
And, like, everybody knows who Anakin is, I would assume, in the Jedi Order, and everybody knows who Obi-Wan is. So I think, like, does she want to get like Obi-Wan for Vader, because Vader obviously seems like he's favoring her and she wants to be in his favor? Yes. But also it's like, I want to see this man dead because he's the reason my friends are dead, because he couldn't train Anakin. That's my little headcanon I like right now. So that's, obviously I'll probably be wrong, but that's why I like my little headcanon, like I said, for now.
And the best part, we have 4 more episodes
to see.
Guess what? They're gonna tell us the story. That's the whole point of a TV show. We're gonna get it. Get over yourselves, people. Like, it's the whole, like, characters grow. That happens. You just want it right now. I want it right now, personally. But, like, wait week to week. It's gonna grow on you. I think we get Vader next week, obviously. But that's kind of obvious at the end. Is the Grand Inquisitor dead?
That one is, I think.
I sent Cam. Let me pull
I'm all in on this theory. I haven't stopped thinking about this theory.
I'm all in on this theory.
I haven't stopped thinking about it. It makes so much sense.
Obviously, people can survive getting stabbed, especially dark side users, because their anger keeps them alive. There is a interesting theory. Dave Filoni wrote this. Dave Filoni was one of the lead writers on Kenobi. Dave Filoni doesn't retcon his own stuff. We know this. Dave Filoni pushes his agenda. Dave Filoni will retcon comics that are not his, but he will never... I don't think I've ever seen Dave Filoni retcon himself, which sometimes happens with writers, because there's a lot of moving parts with Filoni. The new theory that Cam and I really like is that the Grand Inquisitor is the first line of clones that leads to Palpatine coming back. And so, in one of the comics, and also what he says to Kanan when he throws himself and kills himself, he commits suicide, he says some things are worse than death, or some things are scarier than death. And what if keep coming back as a clone with some previous memory is worse than death? And that's great. Yeah. And we know that Vader never lets the Grand Inquisitor go. He lets the other Inquisitors get killed, but the Grand Inquisitor is always there even when he fails.
Yeah.
I would love this theory to be true. I don't even care if it explains how Palpatine returns. It just explains, it would tie in Bad Batch. It would tie in so many things.
It'd be cool too, just for the fact of like, people were complaining about his head. Like, okay, that was that clone's head. There's another one that has like that big, skinny, tall head kind of thing. It'd be a big FU to that. It'd be awesome.
I don't think it'd be a cop-out either, because they've been laying the groundwork for Imperial cloning for a long time.
Correct.
And it almost seems like Kenobi should have came out before the sequel trilogy, because it would have helped be like, oh, there we go. I see it. I've seen that before Kenobi. But
I can't wait for the YouTube dummies to spin this as that they're still retconning and not treating the sequel trilogy like it's a thing. Like, I can't wait for that, because I think Star Wars has consistently, the last couple of things that they've done, have been like, F you, it was a thing, and we're going to connect some ways to it. So it'd be cool if they did that. But we should probably move on, I think.
We probably should move on. But I will say, George Lucas didn't like the EU. He liked the money the EU brought in so he could fund his own movies.
Right.
He liked some parts of the EU, though. Okay, you're number 3. Are we at 4?
No, we're at 4.
We're at 4. Oh, God.
We'll speed through these.
That's fine.
My number 4 is the Obi-Wan and Leia comedy hour, as I like to put it. That's what I put in my notes. They were a hilarious duo, because it was just cool, because like the only thing that could get Obi-Wan to leave his mission of watching over Luke is to go protect and find his sister. I love that aspect of it, and they were just so perfect together, because this will be a point Leia was very Leia in a 10-year-old body, which was amazing, and Obi-Wan was like kind of curmudgeony, but like you could see there was times he's realized like, Obi-Wan, Ben, what do you do? Like, this is a 10-year-old. Relax, buddy. Like, he had that internal kind of thing. Like, when, and it was funny, he, like, picked his battles, right? Like, when she went to go put on those gloves, and he's like, you don't need the gloves. And then he tells the shopkeeper, get the gloves. I'll pay for the gloves, too.
The glove part was hilarious.
So he's picking his battles, but it was funny, too. So they had their moments. She was all excited. She's like, if you're a Jedi, make me float. Like, just, I want to do that kind of thing. While he's just like, no, I'm not going to, like, Leia, let's go. I got to save you kind of thing. It was really cool to see that comedy, because we've obviously had Obi-Wan interacting with Anakin, and we've had Obi-Wan interacting with Padme through the movies, the books, the Clone Wars show. But now we're seeing him interact with one person who is both Padme and both Anakin at the same time. It was very funny, but they have a very cute relationship. And it was just awesome. I love that whole part.
So my number 4 plays directly into that, and that's Leia as a whole.
Okay.
This was the perfect casting for it. Her name is Vivian Lyra Blair. You may have seen her in several other things. She was Girl in Bird Box, just several years younger. And the other one that I only watched because of Pedro Pascal is the We Can Be Heroes that came out last year on Netflix with obviously very well-renowned Star Wars director Robert Rodriguez, his newest movie. She actually plays the daughter of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, which is funny. So very talented. She really captured the essence and like annoying banter of Leia. Like, people were like complaining about her. I'm like, do you know Leia? This is her character. This is literally Leia. And it was the whole thing where we always knew Leia was older. Like, yes, she's 10, but she acts older because she's literally like, obviously Bail and Breya really train her to be like the future. Like, they know while Bail is leading the partly leading the rebellion, Leia's the future. Leia is going to be that person, and they kind of trained her while also obviously loving her. Like, they didn't force her into it, and it captures it because she's the same way in the Rebels episode. Like, just 17 or something like that. Like, this is her. This is always who she has been. Like, quick-witted, gonna tell you exactly how she feels because she was raised to be the leader, to be the one, just to to like cut it where it needs to be. And her
Right.
and Obi-Wan got along really well. I really like the point that she doesn't know that he's Obi-Wan.
Right.
So when she sends the message to Obi-Wan through R2 in episode 4, and then Luke saves her and says, "Oh, I'm here with Ben Kenobi," she puts together that they're the same person. And that's why she's so excited that Ben Kenobi is here for her, because that is the man that saved her when she was a child.
Can I add to that real quick?
Yes.
Again, going with connections to the sequel trilogy, doesn't that add such an extra layer of the fact that, like, because people are like, if anybody was going to name their kid Ben, it would have been Luke probably.
Now it makes
But
sense.
she probably has that extra admiration. Like, when she does put 2 and 2 together that Obi-Wan is Ben, that's the man that saved me. That is a powerful, strong Jedi who, like, also, like, tried everything he could to help my father. And my father did fall to the dark side, but he tried everything he could. For all intents and purposes, Obi-Wan is basically her grandfather. If you think of it, kind
or
of.
uncle. There's so many ways to look
Yeah,
at it.
so it adds like a nice little extra oomph to like why Han and Leia specifically named their son Ben. I just like that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're off to number 3.
So I'm gonna not talk about Vivian yet because that's gonna come up. But my number 3 was in part 1 was Owen standing up to Riva. I thought that whole scene was awesome, where she's basically trying to find the Jedi. In her mind, she's looking for Obi-Wan, but in the Grand Inquisitor and is the fifth brother?
Yes.
Right? Because she's third sister, yeah. Fifth brother's eyes, like, it's that other guy. I should have wrote his name down, but whatever. And she's like, basic. What?
Which one? The actor for the fifth brother?
No. The Jedi. I can't think of the Jedi's name. That was on Tatooine.
Oh, I'll find it while you talk.
But basically, like, she's like saying, "Oh, if nobody gives me any information, I'm killing this guy, meaning Owen. I'm killing his whole family." And she kind of like accuses him, like, "Oh, you're gonna hide the Jedi," and he says that awesome line, like, where is it? I have it written down here. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I have no love for the Jedi. Jedi vermin. I kill vermin on my farm. And I think that's cool because he means it, but he probably doesn't at the same time, but he does mean it because he does hate the Jedi because the Jedi killed his stepbrother, essentially, because he thinks Anakin's dead. And he doesn't really care for Obi-Wan. We see that a couple minutes earlier, too, where he's like, Obi-Wan, just stay out of our life. Like, thank you for bringing my nephew with us. We're going to watch over him, stuff like that. But, like, I don't want him to end up like his dad. You're the reason, and your people, the Jedi, are the reason my stepbrother, his father, are dead. So no, I think he does think 100% the Jedi are vermin. He believes that, but when he says I kill vermin on my farm, I don't think he wants to kill the Jedi. I think he knows he can't, but he does do that. And I love the line where Obi-Wan goes to him and says, "Thank you, Owen," and he goes, "I did not do that for you. Like, that was not for you at all." And I was like, "Damn, that's great." But I love that whole interaction between Riva and Owen, and that after interaction with Ben or Obi-Wan and Owen after. It was great.
Agreed. And that Jedi R.I.P. is Nari.
Thank you, Nari. Yeah.
Funny enough, I will also be talking about the Lars family for my number 3. Go figure.
Perfect.
I am just so impressed by how good Joel Edgerton's portrayal of Owen is. Because we don't get Owen a lot. Like, we get a very nice young man with Beru in Attack of the Clones. We quickly see them in Revenge of the Sith. And we only get the first, maybe 1/4 of the movie we get Owen before he's burned to a crisp. He really captured old crotchety Owen really well. Like, he really felt like the counterpart to Episode 4-1.
Right.
And I get it. He is protecting Luke. And I would also be very jaded at Obi-Wan as well because of that. Yep. I love the toy scene. Like, we don't, like, stay away. He's no longer, like, this kid is not going to be a Jedi. I get that, but also, like, people also brought up good points where it's like, Luke's 10 years old and Owen already has him working. Like, Luke had to escape to have fun, to play as a child. And it's just so interesting. I'm excited to see more of the dynamic. Owen definitely seems like a man to stand up to someone like Riva, even if it was going to cost him his life to protect his family. It also probably means he did the same thing to Boba Fett when Boba Fett toasted him in Episode 4, because he'll always stand up for what he believes is right.
Right.
But Owen, I was very impressed at how good he was
Mm-hmm.
as Owen, which is just cool because it's such like a small part, but it has so many big implications.
Right.
So it wasn't a big
Yeah,
part,
that's
but I
great.
really appreciated it. And I mean, it's just also weird how Bonnie P.S. looks so much like young Baru. It's just weird. Like
Yeah.
George just really
Yeah.
knew how to cast. It's just
For
weird
sure.
when you do these sort of things. So
Yeah.
two,
Good point.
we're in the home stretch. We have two than one. I'm
All
excited to
right.
see this one. I think I know where this one's going, and I think I know what we share the same number
Yeah,
one.
I think we share the same number one. My number two is not young Leia, but specifically the actress Vivian Lara Blair, who captured the spirit and essence of a young Leia perfectly. This was, you just talked about casting this, and I know this wasn't George Lucas's casting, but this was probably the best casting of an original character since Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I truly believe that. I love how she acted. So like when Obi-Wan gives that little thing like, "Oh, you remind me of somebody because you're fearless too and you're stubborn." And Leia goes, "Was she a Jedi too, or were they a Jedi too?" And he says, "No, she was a leader." It's because Obi-Wan sees Leia so much like her mother, Padme, right? But it's not a cop-out line just to be like, "Oh, this is what Obi-Wan says." When Obi-Wan says that, I couldn't stop shaking my head like, yes, like she is exactly like her mother, but she's also like Carrie Fisher's portrayal of Leia. Like I thought she was fantastic. Her quippiness, her headstrongness, everything about it. She wants to be a leader. She doesn't want to be the princess just waving in the thing. She wants to lead. And um, Bale has that awesome line that like people are gonna look to you to lead. You're gonna have to find your way to lead, and you can tell that this is gonna be definitely a defining moment of her leadership, and having somebody recognize that she already is a leader, I think is really, really great. But other things she does too, like she has that awesome line right before Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, you remind me of somebody," but she's like, "If somebody's offering us help, then I think we should take it. Now, come on!" Right there, she's leading. She's leading this master Jedi that she has no idea really who he is and what he's done. And that was great. And I also thought it was great too. Like she was saying thank you and being nice to the droids. Like it was the perfect portrayal of Leia. You could not ask for a better thing. Vivian's fantastic. Shout out to her because she brought Leia to life in the most believable way. So like I said, when Obi-Wan has that line, it is not a cop-out, just throw this line in here and make the audience believes it. Her portrayal of young Leia makes us agree with Obi-Wan. Yes, absolutely. Real quick with that line. Obviously, he met Padme, but doesn't it make you think a little bit like, did he also mean how like awesome of a leader Satine was? Just a little bit, like that'd be kind of nice. I know that's not what they're going
trying
for.
to stretch so much. People are like, "Oh my god, he was talking about Ahsoka." I'm like, he wasn't.
No, he's not. He was talking about Padme. I know that, but wouldn't it be nice if it was also a little bit like Satine, like in the back of his head, a little bit? It'd be nice. It would have been nice, but that's obviously not what it is.
And we do know that they released the episode list of like what to watch before Kenobi, and it was all the Satine episodes.
Right.
And I wonder if that was more to show how interesting Obi-Wan is as a character, but also IMDb partially confirmed it, and I confirmed it on Wikipedia. Bail Organa is only an Organa through marriage. His wife was queen. He married into
Perfect.
it. And what's her name? I'm blanking. His wife's name, Brea, said to Leia, well, the fake Leia, "My sister's coming. You need to look good for it." And they're all Organas. So
yeah,
yes,
that makes
Bail.
sense.
I think Bail is an Antilles.
No, I saw it a little while ago because I saw that too, but he's not. But it starts with a P, I think. But yeah, no,
he's a
Prestor.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
And then the Antilles are another part of like the royal family on the Organa side. So it makes sense. But Bale was obviously a very well respected senator. That's why he married the queen, and that's why Leia is a princess. So that's why. So on Alderaan, men will take the woman's name, or at least in the case of royal family, the royal family's last name trumps anyone else. So,
all right, your number two and then our number one together, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I know. We definitely have the same number one. My number one, I'm going to go, it's more of a broad sense, but I'm going to focus on a single person, and I will be focusing on Kumail Nanjiani. And it's almost the whole, no matter what, even in the darkest times, even in the worst of places, there's good in the galaxy.
Yeah.
And I thought Haja was a great character to show that, because like, yeah, he's impersonating a Jedi. He is kind of extorting people for money, but he's also seeing these people off to safety. He does care. He understands, but he is still making money for himself. But he's also putting himself at huge risk by impersonating a Jedi. We know what happens. I don't think he's dead. I think she only took his memories and ran away. So I hope we get to see him again. But that's the whole point of Star Wars. There's always hope.
Yeah,
for sure. A place that is like, this place is a hellhole. Oh, your daughter was captured. Fun fact, the spice dealer was Ewan McGregor's daughter, who's also an actress. And Kumail's character is that hope. And like, we almost have that thing where it's like, oh, let's catch him first and then do it. But when he's helping Obi-Wan and Leia get to this transport, he says, if I knew who you were sooner, I would have helped you even more. Like, he knew who Obi-Wan was. He grew up during the Clone Wars and understood what this was. And we're going to talk, that's my question later, but like, I love when Star Wars does that. Like, yeah, you have kind of like a Han Solo character where the reluctant person that still wants to help when it comes down to it.
Yep.
And I really like that. That's a great example. And I'm glad, I really like Kumail Nanjiani. His voice is so unique. People are like, he better not be a droid. I like this part for him, and I really and I thought it encapsulates Star Wars very well. And I hope we'll see more characters. I mean, we always see more characters like him. But yeah, that's my number 2. Is there's always people trying to do the right thing, even in places where it seems like you won't find that.
Yeah.
Number 1. All right. I think
my number 1 is the Vader Revelation.
Yes, the Vader Revelation. You can go first, though.
Freaking Reva gives a great performance here. Lord Vader will be pleased. You didn't know? He's alive, Obi-Wan. Anakin Skywalker is alive. And the look on Ewan McGregor's face as Obi-Wan when he puts that together is magical. It's very reminiscent. Somebody put the picture side by side of what Ahsoka's reaction was in Rebels when she finds out, oh my god, Anakin fell to the dark. Anakin did die. He fell to the dark side. And now he's like one of the most powerful Force users in the entire world. And he's corrupt and he's a Sith. It was awesome. Everything about that. And then you get not Vader in a suit, but I loved it because it's Vader / Anakin in his most vulnerable state when he's stripped down to his clothes and he's in the Bacta tank. I like that it wasn't just a quick shot of Vader doing the mask breathing. I loved how vulnerable it was. You could see his face because the whole connection is yes, it's Anakin is Darth Vader. I don't want to see Darth Vader. I want to see Anakin in that moment. So I thought everything about that scene was perfect, and that was just so cool. I love that they did this episode 1 too, because essentially, Clifton, you and I talked about this via text. Like, this was one episode. Let's call a spade a spade. It's the same way, kind of how Moon Knight was kind of the same way a little bit too, wasn't it? Basically, what it was basically one episode.
I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, I truly think Kenobi's gonna be just like a 10-hour movie.
Not 10, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot.
It's only 6. It's gonna be like an 8-hour movie. Because I agree. We're gonna get some long episodes. You bring up a good point about the Bacta tank, and I want to talk about. I'm going to cycle back. Obviously, actually, that might be why Reva knows he's Vader. Anakin is Vader, because she might have found the tapes in the temple saying, "You've done well, Lord Vader," with Anakin there. Like, it all depends where she hid during it. But we know, obviously, Vader, like Yoda and Obi-Wan know Vader is Anakin. Like, they've heard that when they found the tapes of Palpatine being like, "You've done well, Lord Vader, now go to Mustafar." And the reason Obi-Wan was so depressed for the last 10 years wasn't partially because of the Jedi. He told Yoda, "I can't kill Anakin," and then for the last 10 years thinks he did. He's dealing with this grief of, I killed the person that was closest to me in this.
So much PTSD.
So much issue. And now it's even worse. And now he's like, oh my god, he's alive. People are like, how did he not hear about Vader being alive? I'm like, he's on Tatooine. They literally had the thing where that woman got her hand chopped off, was like, you don't have any, this is the Outer Rim. You have no jurisdiction authority here. And then she lost her hand. Yeah. Tatooine is itself. Tatooine doesn't care about the outside world.
The highest thing they have to answer to is Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, exactly. And Jabba usually lets them do what they want. Well, Jabba is alive in this. It's just it's there, and all Obi-Wan was doing every day was going, cutting meat, coming home every day, and he lived in a cave. His communication devices were literally locked away.
Yeah.
He has had no connection to the outside universe, in a decade. Of course he didn't know that Vader was prancing around the galaxy destroying everything.
Right.
The back to tank made so much sense, and I think it was similar to Rebels, where Ahsoka was like Anakin and Vader's like the apprentice lives. They force connected on that.
Yeah.
They talked. They had that connection through the force where they're like, we both know you're alive. Because when Ben said that, he felt him. He finally felt Anakin because he actually looked for him. And it's heavy. It's not going to be fun. It will be fun.
I'm interested to see why Reva knows about Anakin, because like I thought that was like a big secret. But like, so some people I saw online were mad about that, but like, they're gonna tell that story. Dave Filoni is part of this. Like they're not dumb. Trust in them, people.
Also, Deborah Chow,
fantastic. Again, she's
beautiful.
Her.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Her and Bryce are probably the two best directors in the Disney Plus right now.
I want to add one more. I can't think of his name right now. Famayura.
What'd he do?
He was also in Mandalorian. Rick.
He did. Yeah, he did that. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's
fantastic stuff.
It's Deborah Chow getting. I really like one director for the whole series. That's kind of just what I like in general. A plus episode 1 and 2
killed it out of the park. And I can't wait for Colin's watching it right now and is texting me.
Exciting.
So like I'm so excited to talk about it.
And you and I both talked about it before. Personally, we both think this was a better opening than The Mandalorian was, and that was incredible. I still like the first episode of The Mandalorian is beautiful.
Now, can it live up to the end of season 2 of Mandalorian? That's what we have to see. Hopefully it does, because right now I think it's there. It's there. This is everything I wanted.
If we even get a dream Vader versus Obi-Wan fight scene, it's already gonna be better. So I only have one question for next week.
Okay.
Who is? Give me 2 seconds. Who is Haja sending Ben and Leia to? I think there's only one answer. For this. Who is going to be the person that intercepts Obi-Wan and Leia to send them back to Alderaan?
I don't know.
I think there's only one correct answer. And I think it is going to be the one, the only, Hondo Ohnaka.
I mean, that'd be awesome.
And I think that would be so freaking funny.
Yeah.
Because we know Hondo in the end does the right thing.
And we basically have a live action Hondo already because Galaxy's Edge.
That's what I was saying. I said
like we already have that.
I was talking with one of my friends about it, and him and I were like, he would be like, I would love live action Hondo. I'm like, we kind of have an animatronic-ish version. Imagine like.
Well, there's like when you go on that ride.
There's also
there's like he does a whole spiel and stuff like that.
But
so like he has a thing.
Imagine a like actually like money invested like Hollywood art designer like
right.
Personally, and then I take it a step further. How fun would Johnny Depp be as live action Hondo? That's
not going to happen, but would be fun.
That's beside the point. But how fun would that be? I think Hondo. It either has to be Hondo or a new character. That's my whole thought process.
As I get my laptop charger real quick, I think that'd be incredible.
So that is going to do it for episode 1 and 2 of the miniseries Obi-Wan Kenobi. We have 2 more days of celebration, Star Wars celebration. They actually invited the entire Kenobi cast, which is very odd. There's also been slight rumors about how much the actors and like workers on it loved it so much they'd love a season 2,
which would be great.
Hayden has said there's so much more story to tell. They're really like soft launching season 2. I think the reception from the first 2 episodes is going to help. Maybe confirm that today or tomorrow. But we will talk more about that. But we're going to see you guys for the end of the week with episode 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Absolutely.
Cam, you got the fun. Where can you find us on everything?
You can find me at CamRamos95 on Twitter. You can find the podcast at Stream the Mouse on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Streaming with the Mouse. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and our YouTube channel. Just search for Streaming with the Mouse Disney Plus podcast. You can also find us on our website, cprob.com/stream the mouse. Please make sure to rate, review, 5 stars, subscribe, all the above to every platform that we have so we get more ears on this, especially when these big shows like Obi-Wan comes out. We want more people to follow along right from the beginning so they can follow us the whole series and hear our talks and interact with us online. And Cliff, where can they find you?
You can find me at CPRobinson81. So until next week, everyone. Oh, goodbye there.
Oh, jeez. May the force be with you, everybody. Have a magical day.
Cool.